Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all exceedingly well on this Friday morning. Yeah, I guess every day above ground's a good day, isn't it? So, yeah, we've got the stock reviews. Well done to everybody who submitted stocks again. I know things were a little bit sparse over the time off, whether that was because I was away and not really driving it, or because people are just on holiday. I'm not sure, but great to see guys coming back. Beautiful contributions. It really, I can see that you're putting some effort into it as well, which is absolutely brilliant. So, really, I aim to give as much back as I can on these kind of on these videos, because really, it's not just as you've heard me say a lot of the time on the calls. It's not just what we should do. I don't want you just to understand what we should do, but I want you to understand why we should do it. Because if I can teach you that and give you that understanding behind what we would do, then really you can apply that to any other trades moving forward. Okay, as I said, I'm not here to teach you a strategy. I'm here to build you as traders. So the first one we've got here is Echo Charlie Alpha, and we've got a support line just below 19. We've got some support there, so the next day or two could be coming down there. We're looking for a third bounce, so you'd probably be looking for a stop order. So I would maybe be setting an alert a little bit lower down here, and possibly hit that, and then we could be in having a look at that trade. THG, Tango Hotel Golf, we have some resistance around about the $40 mark. Interesting here, it rallied up strongly, then it's put in a little bit of down day. It put in sort of a nice day there. You see how it came up quickly, and then it put in that resistance, so it was coming in, selling off, and it's broken down now. Maybe I'm sure some people got into the trade yesterday, possibly. I'm not sure, but a pretty decent ratio there as well. Okay. Then we have Sierra November, and what we have with Sierra November is some resistance around about the $21.50 mark. Ooh. There we go. I'm doing this kind of early today because I'm off to Germany this afternoon to teach a stock market workshop to some German people, which would be great fun, all in German as well. 2150 is the resistance line around about there. Slight gap up here, but it's gone through that for most of the month. Seems to be consolidating there. No major issues there. Then we have hot, as in hot to trot. I believe that was the term on the forum. Again, some great resistance. Why did I make this in white? I have no idea. I can't even complain because I don't actually use them to trade with, so they're not really going to get too upset if I'm just a virtual trader user. Okay, so we've got a resistance line at around about the $60 mark. Some good range here. Some very good range, actually. And, yeah, nothing you haven't seen there before. Hot OMI. OMI, we have resistance just below 31. So around about that area there, possibly not as clean as some of the other bounces, but I might even be a little bit keen to look for it to go a little bit higher than where it is at the moment, to actually tie in with the higher points here. Okay, because if you're taking a trade now off that, you're going to have to, you probably would battle with that because you've got a break of the line there. But yeah, I'm probably looking around about the $31 mark, because the tighter you can get in there, the higher it can get up, the less of a risk you're carrying there. Which is, I tell you, minimizing your risk is where it's at. And the more I'm learning, not just about trading, but about business and everything else like that, it's the more you can minimize your risk and compound your potential return. It's really the way to go, because things will come out of left field and you don't even see them. Then we got some resistance at around about the $28.30 mark on TXT. Yeah, 20% move there. Folks, really, we're being spoiled for choice here. I would want to see a little bit of a consolidation here first, though. You see how we've got a big up day there on, that would be Wednesday. Then yesterday was another big up day. I'd like to see a little bit of consolidation coming into sell-off. But something like that, where it's put in there previously and it's put in a doji there. So the past two times it's been up to that resistance line, it's put in a doji or some indication, some change of direction there. Then we have FCS, and again some resistance around about this area here. My concern with this is, yes, we do have three bounces. Yes, it's relatively clean on the resistance line. The thing is, though, this is only a third bounce, okay? So if you were using a stop order on this, you would have to be getting in 1% below the bar here, and your stop loss would be probably 1% above the high here. So it's a pretty big risk, okay? Yes, there is a decent downside, but that risk is something that really concerned me at the moment. Should have come up and put another little shorter day in today, then it'd be a much more appealing trade to look at. FCS, then we had PSB, Papa Sierra Bravo, and some resistance around about coming up to the resistance line around about the $71 mark. Nothing you haven't seen there before. PSB, GBC. Okay, again some resistance around about the $66 mark. A little bit of a gap here. It's consolidated. Yeah, it's a bit of a wild stock, this one as well. It can vary its personality a little bit. It has some very, very big moves on the extremes and some very small moves in between there as well. So not quite as predictable as some of the other stocks you could trade. HAR is resistance around about the $50 mark. What concerns me about this is this. That's going to have to be taken into the account for your actual trading as well. So your stop loss is going to have to be allocated there, which concerns me, but a massive, massive range here. 37.50 is a big range. It's come down to even 35 before. But, I mean, I would be a lot more excited about this stock if this wasn't here, because obviously that's going to affect your ratios. Then we have Kilo Lima Alpha Charlie, and we have a downward trending excuse me, downward trending resistance line. Okay, so bounce, 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 bounce. Again, it's put in a big update, but we've got a few consolidations here, which is really what I'd be looking to use. But as this is a downward trending resistance line, we're going to have to use a stop order. And I'd probably feel a lot more comfortable using a stop order anyway if there was this huge rally prior. Okay. Then we had ANV. Again, Justin, yeah, I think you're getting this as well. We were talking about textbook entry points. I do like this kind of situation. I mean, obviously you've got your bounces along here. It's broken some previous support as well, so let's take a little bit of energy out of it. But it's come back down to this support now, and you can see here how it's put in. It's come down, come down, come down, put in a slight up day and a slight down day. You see what I mean here? If you use a stop order, it's going to be 1% above the high here and 1% below the low here, or the previous low. But it's a tiny area to get in, so your risk is minimalized again. And you know, even if you just get 1 out of 3 of these right, it makes a huge difference, as opposed to having if this bar was, say, you know, $1 or $1.50, it just makes such a big change in the outcome of your trade changes moving forward, in the outcome of your trading moving forward at the end of the month. Okay, so then we have some resistance around about here, maybe a day or two late, but still not something that is concerning. If maybe I would set a limit order there, should it come back up, because I think the trade has probably gone already. But it's, you know, sometimes you see the stock break down and then it'll come back up. And if I ever see a situation like this, because, you know, theoretically I've actually missed that trade, but what I may do is say, okay, well, if the stock rallies back up to maybe $41.30, then I'd use a limit order to get in. So the chances are it's not going to come back up there, because it looks like it's gone back down already. But sometimes it'll come up, retest, and then change direction again, and you're obviously going to get in a much tighter price there as well. Then we have McDonald's Corp, MCD. We have some resistance around about that mark there, the $93. You also have a downward trending resistance line by the looks of things. Okay, so some area of downward trending resistance lines. Now, normally what you find is when these two resistance lines come together, you can see a move off that resistance line a lot quicker than what you generally would. And also be aware of this. Now, this is really why I like doing these kind of things, because it's these little insights that can really show you a lot about trading. This stock, a lot of the time, you'll see how it rallies a lot slower than when it sells off, except for here, I guess. When it's come up to that resistance line, let's look at this. It's hit the resistance there, and it's gapped down. It's come, and then it's come up here, and it's hit the resistance line and gapped down again. It's come back here, it gapped down again as well. Then it came up and it gapped down again. It came up and it gapped down again. So what do you think the chances are that this could gap down again? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. You might just do it. You remember, folks, you've got to trade in the nature of the stock. If you trade in the nature and the personality of the stock, it's going to help you a lot. This is why stock trading is very different to a lot of other trading, because you actually have to get to know the personalities of the particular stocks, or just at least acknowledge that different stocks have different personalities. What we have here is an upward trending support line. We've got a bounce late June, a bounce mid-August, a bounce late October, and then current. You'd obviously be using a stop order to get into the trade because it's an upward trending stock. But yeah, you've seen those before. ATI. Here we have a downward trending resistance line. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah, nothing too untoward for that. Maybe a day late on that, but I'm not going to be too picky. Then we have TXM, which is Texas Instruments Incorporated. This is a trade actually I took a lot of money on about a year and a half ago. A lot of money in a longer term trade as well. We have a resistance line around about the $34 mark. It's not quite there yet, so I'd probably be looking for it to come back up a little bit higher. You've got maybe one bounce there, 2, 3 bounces. I would be happier if the resistance had been touched again since late March, but again, no major issues there. I just want to sort of give you that further insight. You know, if you're just sticking to the rules, and it matches the rules. What we have here is a Cena, which is a downward trending resistance line. So we've got the downward trending resistance line, bounce, bounce, bounce. Sorry, guys. A downward trending resistance line there. Put in a nice little doji. So it's put in a nice little doji there. It's come up. It's a reasonable good sign. Obviously, you're going to be looking for a stop order should you try that trade. Let's clear zoom. And I mean, that's a pretty decent range on there as well. Huh? You know, 56 down to the 40 odd dollar mark. That's a pretty decent range there. You notice how many short positions there are now, because obviously the markets are at a high, are near a high at the moment. CLF. Again, a downward trending resistance line. Whoop. Bounce, 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 bounce. Maybe a day or two late as well on that one. Just show you the strategy does work and stocks do trade like this. T-Tech. Now I couldn't see a trade on T-Tech. I was not sure exactly what was going on there. Then we had XLNX. Again, some resistance around about the $37 mark. Some resistance there. Again, maybe it's just a day or two late. UPL. Support. Again, the stock looks like it's gone a few days ago. Support at the $17.50 mark. So it's been maybe even a month that it's come away from that resistance line. Support line, sorry. People may say there's a downward trending resistance line there, but really I'm only looking for stocks to trade that have been trending for more than 4 months. Let me add Fred. And Fred is, I couldn't see a trade on that, and I couldn't see one on CMP either, or OMCL. Then we had McDonald's Corp, we got OMI. Okay, so OMI, I could see some resistance around about the $31 mark. Yep. Again, a bit of a scatty stock. It can move quite aggressively. OMI GGP. Here we have an upward trending support line. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Let's put a little bit of a down day. Again, you're always going to be using a stop order to get in an upward trending stock. No major issues with that. And CDE. We have an upward trending stock mid-July to current. Okay, I'm guessing this wasn't given here as, I mean, there is that internal support, but again, that's November, December, January. That's only 3 months. I wouldn't be overly excited by that because it's just a too short a time frame for me to trade that. But you do have the upward trending support line there as well. So hope that helps, folks. Well done on the submissions. Again, the work you're putting in is the work you're going to be getting out. So, or is the results you're going to be getting out. So, I hope that helps, and have a great weekend. And I will be back with you first thing on Monday. I arrive back in London on Monday morning, and then I'll be on the calls from 12, and then the ones in the afternoons and the evenings as well. So have a great weekend, and I will speak to you soon. All the very best. Cheers. Bye bye.